5 forgotten trucks built like tanks that outlast a brand new Toyota Tacoma for under $6,000. Walk onto any used car lot in America today and try to buy a Toyota Tacoma for under $6,000. You will get laughed off the property. A 2006 Tacoma with 200,000 miles and a cracked dashboard is still listed at $14,000 because the internet decided it was the only reliable truck ever made. I have been a mechanic for over 2 decades, and I am here to tell you there are trucks sitting on lots right now for a third of that price that were built just as tough, run just as long, and nobody is paying attention to them. Today I am counting down 5 forgotten trucks that will outlast a brand new Tacoma for under $6,000. I saved the best for number 1 because that truck is the most overlooked bargain in the entire used pickup market. Let us get into it. Starting at number 5 is a truck so forgotten most people think I am making it up when I mention it. The Suzuki Equator, built from 2009 to 2012, is mechanically a Nissan Frontier wearing a Suzuki badge. That is not a loose comparison. It was literally assembled by Nissan at the same factory in Smyrna, Tennessee, on the same production line using the same parts. The frame is the same. The engine is the same. The transmission is the same. The only differences are the grille, the badge on the tailgate, and the fact that Suzuki pulled out of the American car market in 2012, which means the name carries 0 resale value. And that is exactly why you can buy one for thousands less than the Frontier it was cloned from. A customer of mine, a guy in his early 30s who does property maintenance, came in last year looking for a mid-sized truck on a tight budget. He had $5,500 to spend. I found him a 2010 Suzuki Equator Crew Cab with the 4.0-liter VQ 40D EV6, 4-wheel drive, and 134,000 miles for $5,200. An identical 2010 Nissan Frontier with comparable miles was listed 3 lots over for $11,800. Same truck, same engine, same everything. He bought the Suzuki and has been running it hard for over a year now without a single mechanical issue. The VQ40DE in these is the same naturally aspirated V6 that made the Frontier famous. Timing chain, port fuel injection, no turbocharger, 261 horsepower. I have seen this engine go well past 300,000 miles on original internals. Every single part at every auto parts store in the country cross-references to the Nissan Frontier. You walk into AutoZone and tell them it is a Frontier, and they hand you the exact part you need. Inspection is simple. Check the transmission fluid color because the 2009 and 2010 models share the same radiator design as the early Frontiers that had the coolant to transmission fluid crossover issue. If the fluid is clean and red, you are fine. If it looks pink or milky, walk away. Also check the rear leaf springs for sag and listen for exhaust leaks around the manifold. If those check out, you have a Frontier for half the price because of a badge nobody recognizes. Current market price on clean Equators with reasonable miles is between $4,000 and $6,500, depending on cab configuration and drivetrain. That is Tacoma reliability at Craigslist sedan money. Number 4 is the truck that General Motors sold alongside the Chevy S10 for a decade, and somehow nobody remembers. The GMC Sonoma, built from 1994 to 2004, is mechanically identical to the Chevy S10 in every way that matters. Same frame, same engines, same transmissions, same axles. The Sonoma just wore a different grille and sat on the GMC side of the dealership, which in the used market means it gets about 15 to 20% less attention than the S10, because fewer people search for it by name. A buddy of mine who runs a small welding shop bought a 2001 Sonoma with the 4.3-liter Vortec V6 and a 5-speed manual 3 years ago for $3,200 with 161,000 miles. That truck now has 214,000 miles. It hauls welding equipment, steel plate, and gas cylinders 6 days a week. The only repair beyond maintenance has been a fuel pump at around 195,000 miles, which cost him $380 at an independent shop. That 4.3-liter Vortec is a small block Chevy V8 with 2 cylinders removed. It shares the same engineering DNA that has been proven across tens of millions of General Motors vehicles for over half a century. It produces 190 horsepower in these trucks, tows 5,500 pounds without drama, and returns 18 to 22 miles per gallon on the highway. Parts are everywhere and cost almost nothing. A water pump is $180 installed. An alternator is $220. Try getting those numbers on a modern Tacoma. Current pricing on a clean Sonoma with the 4.3-liter engine and under 160,000 miles runs between $3,000 and $5,500. A comparable S10 with the same engine and similar miles typically asks $1,000 to $2,000 more, for no mechanical reason whatsoever. When you inspect one, check the cab corners and rocker panels for rust, because these trucks lived hard lives in every climate. Check the intake manifold gaskets, because the 4.3-liter in this era used plastic gaskets that can leak coolant around 140,000 to 160,000 miles. That is a $400 fix that any shop can handle. If the frame is solid and the engine runs smoothly, you are holding a truck that will go another 100,000 miles for the price of a decent set of golf clubs. Sliding into number 3 is the truck that General Motors built to replace the S10, and then somehow made even more forgettable. The first-generation Chevy Colorado, sold from 2004 to 2012, came with an engine option that most people have never even heard of. It came with a 3.7-liter inline 5-cylinder engine. Yes, 5 cylinders. General Motors designed this engine specifically for the Colorado and Canyon platform. And while it confused buyers who expected a 4 or a 6, the engineering behind it is genuinely solid. It produces 242 horsepower, which is more than the 4.3-liter Vortec made in the S10. And it delivers 230 pound-feet of torque through either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. If this truck content is helping you out, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out videos every week on the trucks that actually deserve your money. Now back to the Colorado. I worked on a 2008 Colorado with the 3.7-liter engine and 189,000 miles last spring. The owner was a retired firefighter who used it for hauling firewood and pulling a small utility trailer. The engine had never been opened. Compression was within factory specification on all 5 cylinders. The transmission shifted cleanly. He wanted to know if he should start looking for a replacement, and I told him he was at least 80,000 miles away from needing to have that conversation. The 3.7-liter engine uses a timing chain, has port fuel injection, and does not have the complexity that kills modern trucks. The 4-cylinder versions with the 2.8 or 2.9-liter engines are fine too. But the inline 5-cylinder is the one to find, because it gives you genuine V6 power with better fuel economy. Current market price for a clean first-generation Colorado or Canyon with the 3.7-liter and reasonable miles runs between $4,500 and $7,000, though you can find higher mileage examples well under $5,000. Compare that to what a Tacoma from the same years costs, and you will understand why I keep telling people to look past the badge. Watch for oil consumption on pre-2007 models, because GM revised the piston rings for the 2007 model year, and the earlier engines can burn a quart every 2,000 miles or so. Check the fan clutch, because fan clutches get lazy around 130,000 miles and can lead to overheating. Inspect the frame for any signs of cracking near the rear cross member, because some hard-use trucks develop stress cracks in that area. Number 2 is a truck that most people under 40 have never heard of, and the ones who have assumed it is just a weird footnote in Toyota's lineup. The Toyota T100, built from 1993 to 1998, was Toyota's first real attempt at a full-size truck for the American market. It was bigger than a Tacoma but smaller than an F-150, and it was powered by one of the most reliable engines Toyota has ever produced, the 3.4-liter 5VZ FE V6. That came in these from 1995 onward is the same engine that later powered the Tacoma, the 4Runner, and the Tundra. It is naturally aspirated, and it has a timing belt instead of a chain, which means you need to service it at 90,000-mile intervals. But when that service is done, this engine will outlast the truck around it. I had a customer 2 summers ago who brought me a 1997 T100 with the 3.4-liter V6 and 238,000 miles. He bought it from the original owner for $4,800. The frame had been undercoated from new and was cleaner than trucks with half the mileage. The engine ran like a sewing machine. I did a full inspection and told him the honest truth. Mechanically, this truck had more life left in it than half the new vehicles sitting on the dealer lot next door. The T100 is not flashy. It does not have crew cab options or fancy interior trim. It is a simple, honest, body-on-frame pickup with Toyota engineering at every stress point. The 3.4-liter V6 makes 190 horsepower, tows 5,000 pounds, and returns 19 to 22 miles per gallon on the highway. Parts availability is excellent because everything under the hood shares components with the Tacoma and 4Runner. Current pricing on a clean T100 with the 3.4-liter V6 is between $3,500 and $6,500, depending on cab style, mileage, and condition. Rust belt examples can sell for even less. When you inspect one, check the frame rails thoroughly, because T100s that spent their lives in northern states can develop serious frame corrosion. Check the timing belt service history. If the belt has not been changed, factor in $800 to $1,000. Also look at the exhaust manifold for cracks. The 3.4-liter V6 is known for hairline cracks on the driver's side manifold at around 150,000 miles. That repair typically costs $350 to $500. If the frame is solid and the belt has been done, you are driving Toyota DNA for less than a payment on a new Tacoma. And here it is. Number 1. This is the truck I would hand the keys to anyone who told me they needed something to beat on for the next 10 years with zero drama. The first generation Nissan Frontier, specifically the 1998 to 2004 models with the 2.4-liter K, a 2.4DE 4-cylinder. This is the truck that time forgot. Nissan sold tens of thousands of these across America, then replaced them with the bigger second generation Frontier. And the entire market stopped paying attention to the originals overnight. That was a massive mistake. The KA24DE is one of the most proven 4-cylinder engines in Nissan's history. It was used in the 240SX, the Altima, and various Nissan trucks across multiple continents. It is a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated inline 4 with a timing chain, port fuel injection, and an iron block that will not crack if you look at it wrong. It makes 143 horsepower, which is not going to win any drag races, but it returns 25 to 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and it has a documented reputation for going 300,000 miles without major work. A young guy who works at a feed store near my shop bought a 2003 Frontier XE with the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, 5-speed manual transmission, and 147,000 miles. For $3,900 last fall. That truck has been hauling feed bags, pulling a small livestock trailer, and commuting 35 miles each way to work every single day. Not one issue, not one. Oil changes and a set of brake pads. That is the entire repair history since he bought it. The 5-speed manual transmission in these is almost comically reliable. Nissan built it for markets where trucks get worked mercilessly with no access to dealerships. The clutch lasts 180,000 to 220,000 miles if you treat it halfway decent, and replacement when it finally goes is $500 to $700. The 4-speed automatic is equally solid as long as the fluid was changed periodically. Current market price on a clean first-generation Frontier with the 2.4-liter engine and under 160,000 miles is between $3,000 to $5,500. A same year, Tacoma in any condition at all is selling for $10,000 to $16,000 because of the cult pricing that Toyota trucks command. Mechanically, the first-generation Frontier is the Tacoma's equal in durability. I will say that publicly, and I will stand behind it. When you inspect one, check the rear leaf spring hangers for rust because that is where corrosion hits first. Check the distributor cap and rotor because these use a conventional ignition system and those parts wear out around 100,000 miles. A $60 fix that takes 20 minutes. Look underneath for any oil seepage from the rear main seal, because some higher mileage examples develop a slow leak that costs about $400 to fix properly. If the frame is clean and the engine is dry, you are looking at a truck that will run for another decade and cost you less in total repairs than one monthly payment on a new Tacoma. So there it is. 5 trucks the market has completely forgotten about, and every single one of them was built like a tank. The Suzuki Equator with its hidden Frontier DNA, the GMC Sonoma running the legendary small block Vortec, the first generation Chevy Colorado with the oddball inline 5 that refuses to quit, the Toyota T100 carrying real Land Cruiser grade engineering under the hood, and the king of the list, the first generation Nissan Frontier with the bulletproof KA24DE. None of these trucks will get a second look at a car show. None of them have touchscreens, lane departure warnings, or wireless phone chargers. What they have is the one thing the modern truck industry has completely abandoned: mechanical simplicity that will still be running long after the new trucks have been recycled into soda cans. Next time someone tells you that you need to spend $38,000 on a Tacoma to get a reliable truck, send them this video. Then go buy one of these 5 for less than $6,000 and spend the difference on actually living your life. If this helped, hit that like button and subscribe. I have more videos coming on the trucks dealerships hide and the ones that actually earn your money. Drive safe. Take care of your truck, and it will take care of you. I will see you in the next one.